Captives of a Concept, Chapter 16, entitled, What if this was another religion? If the teachings and prophecies considered in this study, in this book, had come from another religion, the governing body would likely apply all these terms that were mentioned back on page 56. Falsehoods, false stories, false teachers, false teachings, false doctrines, false prophets, false prophecies, false religious views, false religious teachings, false religious philosophies, doctrines with pagan religious routes, the disfiguring of God, God dishonoring, pagan doctrines, godless myths. If that same religion claimed to be God's sole channel of communication for all of mankind, and that it was the only true religion, well, the governing body would reject such claims and say that its historical record and the present conduct of its religious leaders prove that it's only part of Satan's organization. If its religious leaders did what the Watchtower Society's religious leaders have done in order to ignore, alter, misrepresent, and cover up their historical record, the governing body would likely apply these same terms to them as Jesus applied to the scribes and Pharisees in Matthew chapter 23. What would the governing body say about members of that religion who were accused of being apostates just because they could not conscientiously accept everything their religious required of them to believe in, even if it was a false teaching? It's likely that the governing body would commend them for following their God-given conscience rather than bowing to a dictatorship of their religious leaders. If Jehovah's Witnesses saw some other religion doing all the things their religion is guilty of doing, they could only wonder why anyone would want to have to do anything to do with it. And so that brings up this fair question. Why do they have anything to do with the Watchtower religion since it is guilty of all these things? What makes the difference? It is the Jehovah's Witness concept of the organization that makes the difference. It forces them to either not notice that their religion is guilty of doing all these things, or else ignore all the things that it's guilty of. Because in their minds, no matter what happens, it's still God's organization. If anything is wrong, then it is their responsibility to wait patiently and leave it in Jehovah's hands for Him to straighten things out in Jehovah's due time. Those who cannot wait for Jehovah to take care of matters are thought of as being apostates, or having turned their backs on God, and therefore they deserve to be disfellowshipped and shunned in order to keep God's organization clean. Again and again, the reasoning of both the Jehovah's Witnesses and their governing body is dominated and controlled by their concept of God's organization. But as Raymond Franz pointed out, it's a concept that did not originate with God. There is no reason to believe that He will feel compelled to support it, that being the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. So this brings an end to this chapter, and please stay tuned for the next one. Thank you for taking time to watch and listen to this presentation. Post your comments, like and share this video, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for the next episode.